annoyed that I threw a couple of sound bites in at the end of your montage where you're like, look, it would be like, let's say, Van Gogh does this wonderful picture. Van Gogh did the Mona Lisa. And if I went in there with a brush at the very end and kind of curled her lip up so she smiled a little bit, people would think that was you can't do that. That's sacrilege. Do you feel that way that I threw in the delicious and then a couple of quacks? Or does it bother you?
Would you be annoyed if you're doing Flop, Sweat, and Tears comedy, you're doing stand-up, and you're 3/4 of the way through a joke, and then someone tries to ruin the joke by adding their own material to the joke?
Tucci.
Yeah.
Tucci. That's what they say. Tucci. You're right. I apologize. Do you want to do it over again?
You want to waste another 4 minutes?
I wouldn't call it wasting. We got people running through. They got people running through the walls again. People love the montage. Brick wall dead.
I was a little disappointed in the sound bites that were provided this week, though. So I didn't have as much cliched sound bites from Vikings players and coaches.
How about this? Montage power rankings. Number 1, Nordo, Tenebee 2. Wow.
Oh, wow.
You're getting ripped. No! You have more longevity with montages than anybody in the building. I mean, Nordo's been doing them at a high level for a while. But how long has he been doing montages? How long has he been with the Paul Allen Project?
I don't know. A decade, maybe? I don't even know.
Is
how long
it that
he's been
long?
Here. 8 years?
Seems just like yesterday. When all our troubles seem so far away, now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Because you've been here for 19, 17? What is it?
What are we at now? We're 19 years.
Wow.
You've got to be kidding me.
Do you feel like a low-level loser?
19 as your producer.
Yeah.
I've been here longer.
Do you feel like a low-level loser?
Yeah.
Join the club, because I do too. I've been here for since 1993, spinning my wheels. But I like it here. It's all right. It's a place to call home. I like the cozy, comfy confines of the 651 Carpets Plus studios. That's where I'm broadcasting live from. And the folks at 651 Carpets, they laid the carpet in my main level of my home, and I'm excited and delighted with the work they did. We'll get the upper level and the lower level going here one of these days soon.
We're at the point at our household where we got 3 young kids and a dog.
Right.
The carpets aren't as clean as they should be.
Right.
Would love to have new carpets, but then you're just afraid they're just going to go make it dirty again.
Yeah, well, that is the issue. Yeah, that is the issue. Are you a household in which this is controversial?
Oh, boy.
I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
Does everybody in the house remove their shoes when they come in, or do they walk around the house in their shoes?
Everybody is supposed to remove their shoes. I do have a 9-year-old that tends to just want to keep them on. He'll also walk outside without shoes on. He'll walk in his socks outside in the grass. Drives me bonkers.
You are his dad.
I've yelled at him a million times about it.
You can, pardon the pun, put your foot down.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to his dad.
Oh, he doesn't, does
No.
he? You can put a stop to that as well.
Well.
Okay, whatever you want to do.
In the grand scheme of things, that's relatively minor.
Yeah, I guess.
So
we take off our shoes in our house.
Yes. Everyone should.
It's
those that don't, it's disgusting.
I think it is, but I know there are households where they do not. Did I ever tell you when baby brother Peter and I would go on basketball trips? When he was playing, pardon me, when he was playing AAU basketball for Big Sizz, when he played for Sizzle, and when he played for Larry Suggs operates Sizzle, along with Brian. I can't remember Brian's last name. I'll think of it here in a second. But Brian and Larry run Big Sizz. We'd travel all over the country. We'd go to Dallas, Las Vegas, Atlanta. Did I say Indianapolis, Denver? We're all over the country. And when you think about it, like hotel rooms, as nice as they are, how many people have walked with their shoes? And I don't expect people to take their shoes off at a hotel room, right? So Pete and I, some of them you'd go to, they're a little long in the tooth, right? So we would walk around the edge of the room like this, because the carpet's still clean there, right? 6 inches, 8 inches from the wall, nobody's walked there. So in order to walk barefoot, we'd walk like this. the edge of the wall. And then the best one was I had these, I stole them when I went to a spa one time. Tenby, have you ever had a full body massage?
Of course.
Have you had more than one masseuse? It's more expensive that way, but it's well worth it. And they'll have those cheap little slippers. I took a pair one time, and I bring them when I go to hotels, and Pete didn't know it. And I walked out of the shower, and I had them on, and Pete looked, he goes, "Where'd you get those?" I go, "Brought them with, and they're all mine, and you can't use them." Oh, it was so much fun. He was envious and jealous, because I just don't like the idea of my bare feet walking on carpet that's had people, I mean, a lot of people, when you think about where your shoes have been.
I mean, aren't they getting a daily maid service there, though? I mean, shouldn't the carpets be relatively clean there?
Yeah, but after a while.
How often are you walking in your bare feet? Do you have socks on?
I don't wear socks when I'm. You wear socks in your house when you're home?
Yeah.
Why don't you just put them in your pocket like everything else you own? Your cell phone.
Is that
your
weird?
keys? Well, I
You're
take my
supposed to take your socks off when you get
I
home?
like having just my bare feet.
Nobody wants to see your feet.
My wife has seen my feet for 40 years now, or 30, whatever it's been. My kids have seen them. No, I'm always barefoot in the house.
Huh?
Absolutely.
That's weird.
No, it's not. See, do you get clean socks, or do you wear the socks that you had in your shoes all day?
Well, yeah.
Well, that's gross. That's only a step better than having your shoes, because your feet have been in there sweating and stinky, so now you're sweat.
You and your bare feet, you have your skin shedding off onto the floor.
Mine doesn't shed. I don't shed. I'm not a snake. And I take, unlike you, when I get home at the end of the day, I take a shower. Ben Lieber and I are on the same boat. I had him in as a guest one time just for that segment, because he takes a shower before he goes to bed too. Well,
This is a very controversial segment.
Cleanliness is the closest thing to godliness. Well, we got plenty to talk about today. I mean, we got the Vikings, we got hotel rooms, we have slippers and socks and Wild and Wolves. I don't know where to start. Why don't you spin the wheel of topics?
Commons golf games.
I played today. We can discuss it.
What did you shoot today?
7 over 77.
You're not going to do the 77 Sunset Strip?
77 Sunset Strip. 77 Sunset Strip.
Where'd we play?
Oak Marsh.
Where'd you hit it on? One?
Right up the gut.
Second shot?
Perfect layup, second shot, par 5. So just, hit a hybrid as hard as I could.
How far from the green were you?
I still had a long ways to go. I keep forgetting when it's cold out there, that ball don't travel as far. I had to hit a 4-iron into the green.
Then what?
Perfect shot. Just
Then
absolutely
what?
2-putted for par.
Incredible.
It got away from me on the par 5s. I played the par 5s in 4 over. Par the first one, bogey the next two, and at 16, I'm 5 over, and I'm thinking 16 short par 5. I'm going to bring it to its knees, double. Then finish par. So I had a nice round. It was very nice. Things went well. We do have some breaking news regarding the Vikings. It's really not breaking news. As a matter of fact, I don't even need to save it. It does look like Trevor Lawrence will not play. It will be Mac Jones. I think we've pretty much established that. And they were playing coy, not Coy Detmer, but they were playing coy about it in Jacksonville. But apparently that's the deal. Wild, your mama can't stop him. Your daddy can't stop him. The police can't stop him. Wolves also had a laugher. And, of course, we'll have plenty of Viking talk. Lil Beef, I'm in touch with the program from 1 until 1:30. Then we'll be joined by, I forget, who's coming in for?
Zach Halverson and Tommy Olson.
For Program Password at 1:30. And then, of course, the final hour of the final segment of the day, 2:30 to 3, my favorite, Victory Formation segment. Right now, though, Tenby's got a keyword.
The Fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with their national cash contest. Enter the keyword bank at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is bank. Enter it now at KFAN.com.
KFAN.
Hey, Rubes, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest, to learn more and enter today. That's KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Pass, Common Man here from the cozy confines of the 651 Carpets Plus Studios. They are home of the next day install. Time now in segment number 2 of the Grom on a TGIF, or as I like to call it, a Phone It In Friday, formerly a FedEx Friday. It's Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. They provided dependable, honest, 24-hour or same-day service for a long time. They'll give you an upfront affordable estimate before starting any repair. Reach out today, affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric, they are shockingly affordable. Our Peek at the Purple, I guess I already sort of peeked at it earlier, so this is a full look at it. A 10 of B rounded this up for me. It's a Chef D. Can't remember if we've decided to. It's a Chef D. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything. Maybe because somebody can come up with, like you had Woj bomb. How about just Chef bomb? It does look like, this is what Schefter writes. Doug Peterson said it's trending to Trevor Lawrence not playing versus the Vikings, and Mac Jones would start in his place. And we talked about that yesterday. And you always wonder, I think, every team is different. Every coach is different. But it seems as though, you know how it is, tend to be. They treat this like it's literally warfare, like lives are at stake, like it's the Battle of the Bulge or Battle of the Bighorn, Battle of the Bighorn, Battle of the Bulge. And they use the injury. We don't know. He's questionable. When they know all along if he's playing or not, they want to make you prepare. They're hoping that the defense, if it's an offensive player like the quarterback, well, got to prepare for both guys. They have different styles of football. I don't think it really is that. Is it that big of a difference? I mean, I know they're both different quarterbacks, but I don't think you put together two completely different game plans for each quarterback, and I don't think it fools anybody anyways. It's like either the guy that replaces your star, let's say it is Mac Jones, either he plays well or he doesn't, right? And you have something to do with that, of course. But I think it's much ado about nothing. But
Mac will be a little bit more statuesque.
Yes.
He'll be more like Joe Flacco you saw last week, not being able to move around the pocket very much.
Yes, which would be I think that would behoove the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this in the past. There's no guarantee the Vikings are going to win. They're on the road, right? Anything can happen. On any given Sunday, anything can happen. It seems as though most NFL games, I don't know what the average point differential is, but it seems like most of the games come down to a score, right? Even last night. How about last night's game?
Yeah.
How many did you lose on? Barely anything, right?
I gained points.
Oh, you gained points?
Yeah, because Cincinnati was +6.
Oh,
they lost by 1, so
okay.
I gained 5. But at one point, I had like a +20 differential there.
Yeah,
they're up 2 scores.
Last night's game, a prime example, it came down to a 2-point conversion, and which is something I do want to talk about. By the way, a peek at the. Let me just say this. I guess to finish our peek at the purple. If the game's going to be a blowout, you obviously want your team on the right side of the blowout. I've always preferred. I like, even if it's against a bad team, I like closer games. I like games that go down to the wire. I really do. It makes for more. For me, it's still entertainment, and I like close games. Blowouts don't do a lot for me. I brought this up before, back when baby brother Peter played basketball. We talked about that earlier. He and I would always. If we were blowing out the other team, like in some travel basketball game, we were actually hoping the other team would come back a little bit and make it a good game at the end. That last 5, 6, 8 minutes, It's a 2-point game going back and forth. When you're up 25 and you're emptying the benches, it's just at that point I'm scrolling through the phone at that point. So you want a Viking victory. I'd like to see a good game. I don't know if we'll get one or not. It just seems like Jacksonville's terrible team, terrible city, terrible fans, terrible stadiums with a backup quarterback. I don't expect much. Do you? I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a laugher, but I think the Vikings will win comfortably.
I will say I think he's better than your typical backup quarterback. So, I don't know if there's a massive drop-off from Trevor Lawrence to Mac Jones. Mac Jones, at least he's played a good chunk of NFL games. He's was going through the same thing Drake May is probably going to have to go through here, where he didn't have much to work with in New England, didn't have a lot of weapons. Not that Jacksonville is loaded with them, but I don't think it's a huge drop off for those two quarterbacks. But the other thing is do we still think the Vikings are really that good?
Yeah,
right. I mean, like their first 5 games are good, then they lost 2 in a row, and then last week against Indy they won, but it wasn't like a convincing performance.
Yeah.
So we might still be, when we're looking at Vikings versus Jacksonville, we might be thinking of the previous 5-0 Vikings.
Yeah.
And maybe they're reverting a little bit to where they actually are.
Well, we talk about barometers, and measuring sticks. And with Jacksonville this week, and is it Tennessee the following week?
Yep.
Which is another terrible team in a terrible city. If you do feel that the Vikings, and the NFC North is wide open, right? I mean, the AFC is kind of top heavy with clubs, but the NFC, you basically have what? Detroit, Philly, I guess San Francisco, now that it seems like they're close to fully healthy. McCaffrey's back. I would never write them off. And then you've got
more Washington.
And Washington, and then
maybe
the Vikings.
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta, the Vikings, and the Packers.
Maybe the Rams, maybe Arizona.
Right. So you got a lot of teams in the mix, right? It's kind of wide open. So, but yeah, if the Vikings were to struggle badly in these 2 games or even lose one of them, I think it would make you sort of reconsider what you thought about them leading up to this. You'll hear the game on this radio station, coverage at 10. Be here for the kaboom.
And by the way,
at noon.
Yeah, the injury report will come out at some point. It usually comes out during the program, so we'll have that at some point. But yesterday's injury report, Blake Cashman limited for a second consecutive day, so maybe some hope for Blake Cashman. And Ivan Pace, who did not participate Wednesday, was limited yesterday. So it's possible they could be pretty healthy for Sunday's game.
Well, here's what we're going to find out a little bit later in the show. Is Cashman cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash? Is cash in or is cash out?
Cash out, cash out, cash out, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out.
Right?
We'll find out.
That's exactly what we're gonna find out. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric, affordable-electric.com. Shockingly affordable. Quick break, come back with more Common Man program on the Fan. Metallica.
The Prep Bowl is more than just a game. It's a celebration of Minnesota high school football. Don't miss the action, excitement, and drama on November 22nd and 23rd. Catch it all live on 45 TV or download the KSCP app on your streaming device, or catch the action in person by heading over to our contest page and registering for your choice to win 2 tickets to the games. That's KFAN.com keyword contest center.
Kara, I thought I saw your silhouette there through the studio window because it's very hard to see because of the glare, but I thought that was you. I have a question for you.
Yes?
When you arrived here today, were there any picketers or protesters outside 1600 Utica Avenue South? Did you notice?
I didn't see any. Maybe I went... I didn't see any.
Well, because it's been, I'm getting a lot of reaction to our topic earlier, Tenneby. Shoes off, slides on, inside. Here's another. What is Tenna talking about? Who works long days and leaves their socks on? That's the nastiest thing ever. Here's one. I can't take this today. It's way too controversial. Maybe try coming back the next segment. Here's one. Going sockless at home is a top 5 controversial topic in the history of the Grum. Here's another. Who walks around barefoot in a hotel? That's weird. I do.
That is weird.
Colin, the only person I don't make take his shoes off in my house is my 85-year-old father who has type 2 diabetes and his feet are numb, so he needs shoes on all the time for stability. Anyone who wears shoes in their house or anyone else's is a psycho. Here's one. I don't care how nice of a hotel it is. I always bring a pair of slip-on sandals. I take my shoes off one at a time, slip them into my sandals. I keep them right by my bed. My feet and socks or are bare, are touch. I don't know what he's trying to say. He never touches the floor. This one says, totally with comment on this, barefoot in the house unless it's too cold. Then it's slocks or slippers. Here's an idea.
Slocks?
So, did I say slocks? I meant socks. Socks or slippers. This one says, you can get those disposable socks that they give you at hospitals and bring them to the hotels. That's what I do. Now, that's a really good idea. A lot of people think that's a really good idea. Here's another one. I'm with Tenna. Wear socks at home until it's time for bed. It's very controversial. I think we should get Lil B to weigh in on this. Here's another. I mean, I'm telling you.
Maybe Kara could weigh in.
I'm not making these up. Me boy, I can't believe that Blandon wears his gross socks that he wears all day at his home. Does he sell his used socks too? If so, he could put them together in a package deal with his used golf shoes. That's not the call I've been waiting my whole life for. It's not. I'm going to get a call someday. I don't know when it's coming, who it's coming from, or what it's going to be about, but it's going to change my life. Here's another one. This one says, a lot of people take a shower before they go to bed, and a lot of people take a shower when they wake up. I, for one, take one before I go to bed. Love to be clean on my clean sheets, and that was the discussion that it was very controversial. You and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum here. Ben Lieber is with me. This is what I do. I actually take a shower before I go to bed, and then I take one again in the morning, too.
Well, that one at least makes more sense.
Yeah. I do both. Here's another. Now, here again. Now we're weighing in on a whole different topic. This is getting to be controversial. Speaking about showers, are you a one-day towel a day? How long do you let your towel go before you take a new one? I'm about 3 days, and then I switch it out with a clean one. Tenna B, where are you on this very controversial topic of towel usage?
I know that you are supposed to be changing them every single day.
You don't go every year, do you?
No, I go about 3 days. I'm in the same boat, but
3 days, no. I see. I don't do every day.
Okay.
I don't do every day.
But they tell you about how many germs are on your towels and how disgusting it is.
I've actually Googled it before because I don't want to say I'm germophobic, but I'm sort of germophobic. And so I've looked into that before, especially because baby brother Peter, you know what he says? Well, the closet's full of towels, so why not use them? Because he uses a new one every single day until he went to college. Because I asked him about that.
Sure.
Because
you didn't even get the laundry set up there.
We gave him like 6 towels. 6, fluffy, whatever it was. I go, so how often do you use a different towel every day? And he kind of gave me that sheepish look. He goes, well, no, I usually go a few days anyway. I think he's like maybe going to. Have you ever seen people use them until they're actually stiff?
What?
You put them. No,
they put them outside when it's frozen out, or what?
No, if you trust me, I'm not suggesting you try this. Don't try this at home. If you use a towel for like 2 or 3 weeks and then put it, just keep putting it over the towel rack thing, whatever that you call that. Well, eventually when it dries, it'll just be stiff.
What?
Well, sure, because it needs to be clean. Stuff starts growing and they're trying it. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, I've seen it before. Let me see if I've got another one. Oh, I like this. Now this is good. Schefter Shocker. We've got a Schefter Shocker for you, and then we can do it. And then we can do this. It's a Schefter Shocker. Adam Schefter is reporting that what's his name? Vicky Lawrence? No,
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence will not be playing. Wild win. It looked like I didn't know this. Maybe you knew this yesterday. I did not. When when your favorite player, Kirill,
Kaprizov.
took a puck to the face, it knocked a tooth out. And I think he needed some stitches as well. He lost a tooth, but not his offensive touch. I think it was 3 helpers last night.
Yeah.
Wild win. What was the final score?
5-2.
5-2. And they now increased their record now is 9-2-2. They have 20 points. And as good as that start is, it's still not good enough for first place. This Winnipeg Jets team,
They're unbelievable.
13-1 with 26 points, a 6 points lead. Now the Wild do have a game in hand. They've played one less game, but Kaprizov was
one of our overtime loss was 2.
Okay.
The Winnipeg Jets.
Kaprizov in the story I read, did he have another one of those no-look passes where he's looking one way, going the other, and he threw it right on somebody?
It was described as a no-look.
It wasn't really.
But before he made the pass, he looked over his shoulder to see where Zuccarello was. It was obviously a no-look pass. So, technically, his eyes wasn't directed at where he was passing, but he knew where he was passing to. He knew that Zuccarello was going to be there because before he went and got the puck, he looked over his left shoulder and he saw Zuccarello. So, and then he kind of did a turnaround, spin around pass. It was a brilliant pass.
When will you play old man hockey again?
In 5 days.
5 days. So that was day.
I go every Wednesday night.
So Wednesday night.
Yeah.
When you get home, will you take those hockey socks off and wear them around your house, or will you take them off?
Hockey socks are an extra level of disgusting.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I wear specific socks only for hockey.
Okay.
So
all right.
They're in my hockey bag.
All right, I just wanted to get them said. How often do you wash those? As often as your towel?
Probably not as often as I should. They do get aired out every time, though.
Yeah. See, that's again where you and I differ. You'll wear a pair of jeans 40 times in a row before washing them. I wash them every single wearing. I can't wear. I just can't do it. They got a power play goal too. They had been 0 for 16. Is that right? 0 for 16. What is? Because I'm not paying as close attention to the Wild hockey or the National Hockey League as I once did. What is the percentage for a good, effective power play? How many? Is it 10%, 15, 20?
You want to be over 20.
You have to be over 20%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, it's I guess the best of the best might end up being in the upper 20s, but if you're in the 23, 24, 25% range, that's pretty good.
Okay, so basically you're scoring 1 out of every 4 times you're at the power play is considered good.
What you're probably averaging about 4 power plays a night, so typically 1 power play goal a night.
Penalty kill was better. They were 3 for 3, and did I see this right? They'd given up 6 power play goals in the last 5 games.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's Is that anything to be concerned about either, or do all teams go through stretches like this where you can't score in the power play for 13, 14 times, and all of a sudden the floodgates open up a little bit, and then you go through stretches where we just can't stop the other team from scoring? Or is this something early, small sample size? We're only 9-2-2. We're not very deep into the season. Is it something to be concerned about, Jolly
Power
Green
play,
Giant?
I'm not too concerned about because the players we have on the power play are going to produce, right? I mean, Kirill Kaprizov's playing it all. We've seen him play good here before. He's at a whole nother level right now. Matt Boldy is really coming to his own. I think he's even taken another step up. He is the one who had the wrister last night on the power play. Zuccarello's obviously a good passer. Joel Eriksson-Ek is very capable of playing that role in front of the net, getting screens, deflections, winning battles in corners. So, the personnel for their power play is good. So you're going to have stretches where you go for 16, and you're going to have stretches where you go 8 for 16, right? And it'll all even out as the season moves along. Penalty kill's been a problem here for a couple of years now. This isn't just a 2 or 3 game stretch. It all started, I shouldn't say started, but got mostly exposed in that Dallas playoff series a couple of years ago, which was a big reason why they lost that series. Wasn't good last year. Part of that might just be the Wild have very good defensemen, but they're not the biggest, strongest defensemen.
Okay.
When it comes to PK and being able to clear guys out and getting your sticks on pucks and long reach, they do lack in that area. So it's possible that they just don't have good, I shouldn't say good, but they don't have great penalty killing defensemen.
It could have been a laugh or even more than it was. Did we have 2 goals waved off because of offsides on replay?
Yeah, I mean, one was an obvious offsides that the broadcast said at the moment. You knew I was going to get a call back, and then it did. But yeah, San Jose Sharks are not a very good team.
Yeah.
And I know, Macklin Celebrini was the
Colby Baker winner.
number 1 overall pick in the draft this year. He's going to be a stud. He scored 2 goals last night. The second one was really, really
Where did he
impressive.
play college hockey where he won the Hobie?
BU. But
Rosa's seen a lot of them then yet,
of
right?
course.
Because he watches all Boston
he
University
watches
hockey.
the Beanpot tournament all the time.
That's what he claims.
But they're in the midst of a long rebuilding process that's going to be 3, 4, 5 years before they are a relevant hockey team. I know they'd won 4 or 5 coming into that game last night, but the Wild handled them pretty good last night. You take away those 2 goals, they still had other opportunities where they had multiple chances to score goals.
This could be a segment we call Tenneby teaches common hockey, or because what I wanted to ask was how often. I mean, offsides is offsides. I'm not suggesting, but how often does the offsides actually lead to the goals? It's sometimes just a guy's, a barely offsides, and he wouldn't have. You see what I'm saying? It was like, well, he was so far over, he outpaced the other. You get what I'm trying to get to? Does it really affect the? I mean, I'd say it shouldn't be called, but does it have a real effect?
The offsides being reviewable is only, it's 6, 7, 8 years old.
Okay.
And I think it stemmed from after the Wild got screwed in a playoff game against Colorado because the guy was offsides by 3 feet. It was the most obvious offsides. They didn't call it. They scored the game-winning goal. And I think the Wild ended up losing that series as well. But now that it's reviewable, now like anytime you're like 1 inch offsides, which let's face it, for like a linesman standing at the blue line with how fast the skating is, like it's impossible.
Right.
To be able to tell that he's offsides by 1 inch or 2. But now they can go back and review all these and you get the right angle and shows you're just barely offsides.
Do they review that?
Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of offsides being reviewable because to me it's like, well, if it's impossible to see with the human eye, are we really going to guy was off by 1 inch and we're going to call it and take away goals? Now, the Hartman one last night, that was a pretty obvious offsides that they didn't call that got scored on. Like those are the ones you want to get out. And I don't know why the linesman didn't see that because I thought it was pretty apparent to everybody. But generally speaking, I would be fine with, let's forget the offsides review.
How often do they have an offsides review? I bet it's at least once or twice a game, right? It's always...
I wouldn't say once or twice a game, but once every couple games.
All right.
Just had 2 last night, and they both went against the Wild, and both were the right calls.
And the elder statesman, I call him Flower. I came up with that nickname a couple of years ago when we first acquired him. 24 saves last night. He's played in 1,029 games, which is 3rd all time. 24 saves, 2 goals given up, so 26 shots. How was he? Was he sharp? Easy goals? Tough ones?
San Jose is not a very good team. So Flower wasn't overly tested, but, anytime you're stopping, how many saves did he have? 24?
24 saves.
24, 26. It's a pretty good save percentage. We did a 45-minute KFAN Wild Weekly tonight to run before the Anaheim game. So I had a conversation with Kevin Fallness, and he brought up the point of last night, Macklin Celebrini is the youngest player in the league. Marc-Andre Fleury is the oldest player in the league, and he was scoring a goal on him last night. And actually, Fleury's been playing in the league longer than Celebrini has been living on this planet. And those two were in the same game against each other last night. So that was, I thought, an interesting tidbit. But Fleury had a not great opening game of the season and hasn't had a lot of action since, but has been pretty solid.
Timberwolves, this is the headline, Fish Wrap Factory West Side. Timberwolves make a rapid, resounding fourth quarter rally past the Chicago Bulls. Subheadline says the Timberwolves turned on their defense and turned a deficit into a comfortable winning margin over the course of about 5 crucial minutes. So in other words, are you telling me that they kind of just coasted through the game because they knew they were vastly superior to the Bulls and then said, well, I guess it's time now to play basketball. And for 5 minutes, they earned their paychecks. For the other 43 minutes, they didn't. Because that's what
sounds about right.
That's what this headline's telling me. Matter of fact, Ant almost admits it. Here's what Ant says. This is what I told you. Where does Ant live?
He lives rent-free in your head.
Yeah, this is what annoys me about the NBA. And I'm sure we're not the only city this happens to. Here's his quote. We come out as if we this powerhouse. We ain't this powerhouse. We ain't nobody right now. We a team that went to the Western Conference Finals. We ain't been there 2 times, 3 times. We've been there once. We be coming out in games thinking we're going to win. Well, if you know you're not a powerhouse, why do you do that then? How do you have that mentality? If you guys know you're not a powerhouse, because he just said it now, okay? So now we know, you know, he says he told the rest of the team that, so we shouldn't have this excuse ever again. We're not a powerhouse. But we'll hear it again. Might be the next game, 2 games from now, 5 games from now, 10 games from now, a year. Yeah, we just kind of think we're really good, and, we just kind of came out flat, and we got that. Doesn't anybody else get annoyed by that at all? I mean, I don't lose sleep over it, and, it's a sports radio talk show, so you got to act. I'm a bit more animated than I really feel about it, but doesn't that annoy anybody else? He basically says, well, we're not a powerhouse, but we come out pretending. Because they had a similar statement earlier this year. I think about it in game 1 or something where they kind of thought, well, we're kind of feeling good about ourselves and we're really good. And we think the other team fears us. I think it was something about the other team fears us, and I guess they don't fear us. So if you know all of this, then why does it keep happening over and over and over again? Now, they won the game. I should be
concerned that they aren't a powerhouse, too.
Yeah,
After last season, they should be a powerhouse.
He says, I played a huge part in that, referencing the slow defensive start. I got to get my guys ready to go in the beginning of games. Edwards was brilliant, though. Again, he had 33 points. And he got Gobert involved. According to the story, he's becoming more and more comfortable working with Gobert out on the floor. But yeah, and again, they started the game again defensively. They started slowly because they didn't try. I guess unless maybe I didn't see the game. So I suppose it's always possible in the locker room just before they came out, somebody on the Bulls, Jordan or Pippen or Steve Paxson, Cartwright. One of them said, "Let's go show them what Chicago Bulls basketball is all about." And they went out there and they were just all over the Wolves offensively. They were running and gunning and knocking down shots and passing on, and they were looking almost like, because when basketball is played right, it's almost like a symphony. You know that. So they're just, it's like Beethoven's Ninth by the Cleveland Symphony Orchestra, which the best performance ever. Rosen didn't believe me when I said this. The best performance of Beethoven's Ninth was by the Cleveland Symphony, 1964, a date in October. It was the best ever performance. Nothing can match it. A lot of symphonies have done Beethoven's Ninth, which is his best symphony. I think it's a little overrated. I think there's another symphony that Beethoven's done that's not getting as much as attention as it should. I've done like 9 inside jokes in this last rambling dissertation. 9's probably an exaggeration, more like 5. 5 sounds like more than 3. So I just don't think that's what the Bulls did last night. I don't think it's like, whoa, they caught the Wolves off guard. I think it was the Wolves came on, they looked and said, it's the Bulls.
They had some deep dish pizza before the game.
Right, yeah, a little deep dish. Chicago, that's exactly some Chicago deep dish. And
went to one of Rosen's restaurants.
And then said, okay, what time does the game start? And going, oh, look at Chicago. Oh, they think they're really good. Look at all they score. They're a cute little club scoring points. Gentlemen, ready now? And then they put it all together and clamped down defensively, got the offense going. And they did it in a 5-minute. I mean, when you can eviscerate a team in 5 minutes, when you can be trailing and all of a sudden go in a 5. I mean, think about 5. It wasn't like, God, I had to work the entire second half to get back in this game. It was tooth and nail. It was a knockdown drag out. That was like a bare knuckle brawl between James Jeffries and John L. Sullivan. Do you know who James Jeffries is, Tenby?
No.
How about John L. Sullivan?
Is John Sullivan the former Vikings center?
Well, I think John L. Sullivan is like his great-great-great-great-grandfather. Those were bare knuckle fighters back in the olden days of boxing. Marcus of Queensberry, squared circle, confines thereof. 10 count, long count, you know. So that's why I can't take the NBA seriously during the regular season. Can't do it. Sorry. I know I'm in the minor, and I love the Wolves. I'm just waiting. I love the Wolves so much I voted Nas Reed president. It was so much fun to write his name in. Nas. And I even said, the people next to me looked over, because when you vote, do you sit down they'll let you just sit at a table if you want.
They can if there's like no booths open. Yeah. I got a booth.
I like booth. I'll wait for a booth. John Wilkes.
I don't mind doing it at the table. I don't care if anyone sees who I'm voting
no,
for.
I don't either. But I just like the booth. I just like it's for me. It's just it's a tradition.
Sure.
And I don't like
tradition unlike any other.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't like breaking that tradition. So I will wait till that booth comes. But as I wrote in his name, I went out loud. I went, Nas Reed. I know there's something wrong with me. I need long-term psychiatric care. And even then, there's very little hope. So comedy tonight. Sauce and I will be...
Again?
I talked to him today, too. I talked to him on the phone. I go, could you at least bring your C-plus game tonight? I mean, I could use the help here. I've basically done 45 minutes both nights. He's barely scratched 13, 14 minutes. He says he's raring to go tonight. He claims he has some new material.
Really?
But he claims he has new material. He claims he's ready to go. I am going to close again, though, tonight. I'm going to close.
Oh, boy.
And I'm going to wear clothes.
Just not your socks. You'll be barefoot up on stage.
No, I will have shoes on.
Okay.
How about this? From now on, when Schefter has a bit, we'll call it an Adam Bomb.
Adam Bomb, I like that.
You like that? That's even better than Woj Bomb. It's Adam. Get it? Adam Bomb. That's what we'll do. We'll break. We'll come back. Lil B, Feminine Touch of the program. She's next here on The Fan.